this virtual recital, I'm excited to introduce you to Opera San Luis Obispo resident artist and soprano Amy Goymerac in a concert featuring music by American composers. She's accompanied by pianist Susan Davies. This concert is generously underwritten by St. Stephen's Episcopal Church of San Luis Obispo, where the recording took place. St. Stephen's is a beautiful historic church located in the center of San Luis Obispo, established in 1867. Our virtual recital series is presented free of charge through the generous underwriting of OperaSLO's Board of Directors. Please consider supporting free programming like this by sending in a donation of any size to Opera San Luis Obispo, P.O. Box 14760, San Luis Obispo, California 93406. Finally, accessing the drop-down menu reveals quick links to various parts of the recital. Now sit back and enjoy the concert.
She robs friends and neighbors, the club and the church. It takes all the money with a smile that entrances, but still makes no advances. The old woman sighs and makes languid eyes.
What made this recital particularly challenging?
Well, because I decided to include some musical theater on here, well, a lot of musical theater on here, the wide vocal range was challenging. Just trying to decide what order to record in. Should I do the high stuff first, the low stuff second? Should I go back and forth and do high, low, high, low? It's a little bit easier on the voice to stay in one neighborhood for the whole show rather than to go back and forth between styles.
Cassie, can you tell us a little bit about your background in church music?
I actually have a bachelor's degree in church music from Westmont College. I have an English literature degree also from Westmont. And I actually became an Episcopalian in the UCSB music library, where I was reading about Thomas Cranmer and the Book of Common Prayer, and it's like the heavens opened up and a light shone upon me and angels sang because it made sense. It was like, yes! This is it. And so from that point on, I knew I wanted to be, if I were to be a musician in a church or a director of music at a church, it would be an Episcopal church.
I'd never grow tall as this fence. Time dragged heavy and slow, but April came and August went before I knew just what they meant. And little by little I grew, and as I grew I came to know how fast the time could go. Once I thought I'd never go outside this fence. This space was plenty for me, but I walked down the road one day, and just what happened I can't say. But little by little it came to me, that line between the earth and sky came beckoning to me. Now the time has grown so short, the world has grown so wide. I'll be graduated soon. Why am I strange inside? What makes me think I'd like to try to go down all those roads beyond that line above the earth and neath the sky? Tomorrow when I sit upon the graduation platform stand, I know my hand will shake when I reach out to take that paper with the ribbon band. Now that
the best advice you've been given in the music industry?
I always hearken back to just the idea of be as prepared as you possibly can to get your technique really solid. You can't substitute anything for practicing. It's just, there's no shortcut there. So as long as your fingers can move as well as you can get them, you're liable to get more work. Try to listen to as much music as you can, different types of music, so you get the sounds in your ear. I think those things are probably the most important.
Bud, can you talk to us about the role music and arts play in Episcopalian practice?
Well, Brian, it's not any real surprise that a lot of the music activity in San Luis comes from or is centered around St. Stephen's and some of the other Episcopal churches around the county as well. The Episcopal Church flows out of the Church of England, the Anglican Church, and there are 400 or 500 years of wonderful choral traditions and musical traditions there. And ever since the beginnings of that church, which was built on the Catholic foundation, but the notion that music can be an insight to your soul, can help revive or inspire your spirituality. The Episcopal tradition is that if it brings you closer to an understanding or appreciation of God or spiritual matters, then go for it. And they were very instrumental to putting people and congregational singing into it. The Catholic tradition is more listening to the choir. The Episcopal tradition, starting 500 years ago, is to have people singing the material as well, as a way to bring them closer to God. So the fact that St. Stephen's and St. Peter's out in Morro Bay, St. Benedict's hosts guitar concerts and things like that out in Los Osos, and St. Barnabas certainly in Arroyo Grande, all have been musical venues and welcome musicians into their campuses.
What is your favorite musical idea from the program?
Well, there's a lot of fun stuff going on in this recital, but I really enjoy the middle section of The Monk and His Cat, where the piano and the vocal line are in opposite patterns for just a few measures, like a group of 3 eighth notes and then a group of 2. So 3-2, 2-3, 3-2, 2-3, and then the singer will be opposite for just a few of those measures. And it's hard to get correct, but I like to think that the singer is the monk and the piano is the cat. And in that section, the poetry is talking about how they're living in harmony and they don't bother each other and they each kind of do their own thing, but then they're in this opposing pattern in the music, and it's just playful and fun. And then also the little dissonant chords that repeats that pattern that repeats. I like to think of it as a cat just kind of crawling across the piano.
It is hunting, for me, study. Your shining eye watches the wall. My feeble eye is fixed on a book. You rejoice when your claws entrap a mouse. I rejoice when my mind fathoms a problem. Pleased with his own art, neither hinders the other. Thus we live ever, without tedium and envy. Pang, white Panger, how happy we are, alone together, scarlet and cat. Pang, white Panger, how happy we are.
Cassie, when did you begin working at St. Stephen's?
I actually got the phone call with the job offer literally after I left my final class at San Jose State University, finishing my Master's of Choral Conducting in 2017. I got the phone call offering the job and with tears in my eyes said yes. And my first official day was the 150th celebration of this beautiful building with the bishop here. And I had an orchestra, a small orchestra, and the choir, and used Craig Russell's arrangements of mission music, connecting the history of St. Stephen's to the history of San Luis Obispo and our beautiful mission. So yes, that was a big first day in 2017.
Susan, today as you experience young people entering the field of collaborative piano, what's your most important message?
I would say the most important thing to share is to be always prepared for every eventuality. In other words, sometimes you get jobs that you don't expect, and when you're not ready to go because you know your playing isn't where it should be, or you can't sight read that well yet, those things will pass you by. But if you are really prepared, if you are able to sight read well, meaning that the ability to look at music the first time and play it. And the only way to get better at that is by doing that every day, making yourself do that. So as much preparation as you could get for any branch of music that you might end up doing, I think is very important.
Like the daffodil lily, what is the sun, fair as the lily? Hey ho, how do I love thee? I do love thee as my lambs are beloved of their lambs. How blessed were I if thou wouldst prove me. Dear Philia, like the spreading roses that in thy sweets
can you share with us what your daily warm-up routine is before practicing or performing?
It all starts with the breath. And so if you don't feel rested, energized, and like you can stretch open your torso to sing, then the singing part won't go very well for me. And then I'll just start in my middle range. I'll start usually with an E vowel. That's helpful to find resonance that way. And so I'll do like a wee, just like really simple patterns to help kind of lock in that feeling of resonance. And then from there, the scales will get longer and they'll go to low and high range and other vowels. And then I'll move on to repertoire. So there's a difference between being prepared for performing and training, like working on your technique at home.
Spring, the sweet spring, is the year's pleasant king. Then blooms each thing, then maidens in a ring. Cold doth not sting, the pretty birds do sing. Cuckoo, chuck, chuck, away to a window.
Susan, how diverse does your career get as a pianist?
If we're talking about music genres, I pretty much have done all genres of music, from opera, from musical theater, from choral, from instrumental, church music. I've also been a singer. I still am a singer and have done professional work in that. So pretty much every genre. I've done lighter music, pop music, and obviously more classical things as well. What is wonderful about being in the music field is there's so much diversity in things you can do. I mean, if you like teaching, there's performing, there's just so many avenues, especially as an accompanist and as a collaborative pianist. I mean, there's so many directions you can take it. It's a very rewarding career, never boring.
Amy, when do you know that your work is ready to share with the public?
There are several levels of preparation. There's just the study, the background study. There's the vocal technique, getting it into the body. And then there's the character development. You have to do all of those things. And when you are practicing, I know that I'm ready when I am not preoccupied anymore with, am I doing it right? Have I missed a note? If you can't answer the question, like, did you do that right? You have to be able to say, yes. I know my rhythms, I know my notes, and you're not worried about that. Then you can spend time thinking about your character and the music and watching your conductor and paying attention to other things. Dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way, but together you and I will laugh at last night someday. Ice cream, he bought me ice cream, vanilla ice cream, imagine that, ice cream, and for the first time we were together without a start. Friendly, he was so friendly, that isn't like him, and simply start. Will wonders never cease, will wonders never cease, it's been the most peculiar day. Will wonders never cease, will wonders never cease. Oh, where was I? I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way, but together you and I will laugh at last night someday. I sat there waiting in that cafe and never guessing that you were fat. That you were near. You were outside looking bald. Oh my. Dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. Last night, I was so nasty. Well, he deserved it, but even so, that George is not like this George. This is a new George that I don't know. Somehow, it all reminds me of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Who right before my eyes, a man that I despise has turned into a man I like. It's almost like a dream, and strange as it may seem, he came to offer me
Bud, can you talk to us about your personal connection with Opera San Luis Obispo?
Oh, well, the OperaSLO connection is interesting. I think my wife and I went to the first production of OperaSLO, PRO, I think it was at that time. I think it was Hansel and Gretel, and it was done in Los Osos, I think with a very painted curtain backdrop, painted canvas backdrop. And I believe Mary Sue Gee was one of the principal roles at that point, and we have been going ever since. We went through as OperaSLO grew in terms of the production qualities, and then they began bringing in guest artists frequently, and we saw them all the way through the wonderful 2 or 3 productions of the Magic Flute. Then Oklahoma came, and we had South Pacific and wonderful things like that. And just to watch the talent and the quality of the productions and the musicianship, which some of our local musicians set a pretty high bar, but then to bring in the guest musicians that would amplify that up.
Used to dream that I would discover the perfect lover tennis or polo, or sing a solo or row. He isn't half as handsome as dozens of men that I know. He isn't tall and straight and slim, and he dresses far worse than Ted or Jim. Oh, I can't explain why he should just be the one man in the world for me. He's just my Bill, an ordinary guy. He hasn't got a thing that I can brag about, and yet to be upon his knee, so comfy and roomy, seems natural to me. Oh, I can't explain, it's surely not his brain that makes me thrill. I love him because he's, I don't know, because he's just my Bill.
Amy, how diverse does your vocal career get?
There's a very small percentage of singers where they get to just do one thing. If that's the one thing that they love to do and they make their whole living, that's great for them. They're usually like the best of the best at the tippy top, and they get, but most of us have to do a lot of different things, which is actually fun. I also teach privately. I teach at the university at Cal Poly. I think it makes me a better performer, a better singer. So yeah, I do opera, symphony work, musical theater, recitals, recordings like this, master classes. And so there's really never a dull moment. And you think that there's not going to be work, but there is.
Greenfinch and linnet bird, nightingale, blackbird, how is it you sing? How can you jubilate, sitting in cages, never taking wing? Outside the sky waits reckoning, just beyond the bars. How can you remain staring at the rain, maddened by the stars? How is it you sing anything? How is it you sing? Greenfinch and linnet bird, nightingale, blackbird, how is it you sing?
is your vision for the music program here at St. Stephen's?
I knew from the time I was hired at St. Stephen's that I wanted to integrate education, music education, with the music program here because I teach at Cuesta College, of course. So I have a heart for nurturing musical adventures and moments for people. And so I have with the choir here a choral scholar program where I hire a soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, and they are also vocal support for the other singers in the choir. And they get to perform solos. I try to nurture their performing opportunities. We do more advanced kind of a cappella work together because I also sing. So we get to do Tallis, 6-part a cappella. And it's just wonderful. And we also have an organ scholar program, which Father Ian and I sort of invented and created, and our wonderful vestry here blessed us with that ability because there is a big shortage of organists in San Luis Obispo. And so our first organ scholar, we hired Claire. We paid her to work here and we paid her to take lessons, so Paul Woodring. Within 6 months, she was playing the hymns on the organ for the church services. And she has gone on to Westmont, as a matter of fact, for her teaching credential. And we've just hired Susanna Fletcher to be our new organ scholar. And I believe she'll be studying with Janice Johnson.
His name is Mr. Snow, and an upstanding man is he. He comes home every night in his round-bottomed boat with a net full of herring from the sea. An almost perfect beau, as refined as a girl could wish. But he spends so much time in his round-bottomed boat that he can't seem to lose the smell of fish. The first time he kissed me, the whiff of his clothes knocked me flat on the floor of the room. But now that I love him, my heart's in my nose, and fish is my favorite perfume. Last night he spoke quite low, and a fair-spoken man is he. And he said, Miss Pipperidge, I'd like it fine if I could be wed with a wife. And indeed, Miss Pipperidge, if you'll be mine,
Amy, how do you mentally prepare for performing?
The best way to be prepared is to just trust your work and to trust your preparation. And if you know that you have done the work, you know you're memorized, you know you're blocking, you're not guessing. Guessing is terrifying, right? So if you feel like at any part of your performance you're not exactly sure what you're going to do, or like, I hope I get that right, that's scary. But if you can trust your work, then there's really nothing to be afraid of. And that goes for vocal technique, for characterizations, for your blocking, for what am I doing with my props. I love to tell my students this, that you can practice without singing or talking. You can practice in the mind only. And before a performance, especially of like a full-on opera, I will just sit and think through the whole show. If I can just think through the whole thing, have it memorized, then you can trust that and you can go on stage and not be too scared.
Words, 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 I'm so sick of words. I get words all day through, first from him, now from you. Is that how you politest can go? Don't talk of stars burning above. If you're in love, show me. Tell me no dreams filled with desire. If you're on fire, show me. Here we are together in the middle of the night. Don't talk of spring, just hold me tight. Anyone who's ever been in love will tell you that this is no time for a chat. Haven't your lips longed for my touch? Don't say how much. Show me, show me. Don't talk of love lasting through time. Make me no undying vow. Show me now. Sing me no song, read me no rhyme. Don't waste my time. Show me. Don't talk of June, don't talk of fall, don't talk at all. Show me. Never do I ever want to hear another word. There isn't one I haven't heard. Here we are together in what's all to be a dream. Say one more word and I'll scream. Haven't your arms hungered for mine? Please don't explain. Show me, show me. Don't wait until wrinkles and lines come out all over my brow. Show me now.
Bud, what's your sense for the future of arts in relation to St. Stephen's?
The future of arts, I think St. Stephen's in particular, we have a long tradition of opening up our sanctuary for music recitals. I know there have been several things that I've been able to come to here. We do a special treat, although we're a small congregation, we do try to bring in special music presentations for the holidays and special presentations. I know we've opened up our social hall for artistic presentations. We've had visual arts there, painting, drawing, people like that. We've had fabric artists. There are people who fabricate interesting three-dimensional art. And so I think there's just been a tradition there. And this is a nice space. It has a very friendly feeling. It welcomes musicians. So I think you'll see it more and more being used toward a venue for hosting musical events.
I understand St. Stephen's has a vibrant music outreach program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
In addition to the Choral Scholar and the Organ Scholar program, I really want to open this church to the community of performers, which is why I wanted to invite OperaSLO to be here and to use this beautiful space and this beautiful piano to make the church accessible. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, St. Stephen's welcomes you. And I get emotional just saying it because it's true. And I have let music teachers know that if they have a student who's preparing an audition or needs to get a jury piece in front of a congregation, that they can come here and they can play a prelude or a postlude or sing for the communion to open up the church to that next generation of our musical performers and show them that a church can be a welcoming, loving, accepting place and a great place to make beautiful music.